think it's taken about 5 years. What is it now, 2011? I think I was doing Departed or something. I don't want to go off on another track, but I honestly don't really remember it very much of it, except that Margaret, I think you told me that Olivia wanted to meet me, and Nigel mentioned it, about a possibility of putting together something on George's life. So I remember having a meeting, but it took us a while to get the meeting, so you may have to jump in here because you have the chronology better, I think. Nigel, I think you, David, and Margaret. But it took us a while to get the meeting, and at the meeting, Olivia brought some items from the archive, which were quite moving and beautiful. And I guess at that meeting, too, we just sort of figured out what the ground rules were if we were going to go ahead. But then it took us, I think, another 8 or 9 months before we started editing some footage together and trying to find a way to approach the story. David and Margaret, you put together a book for me of, and I remember I was in the hotel, so it was after or right before I was doing Departed, Shutter Island, I think. And it had all these DVDs and for me to take a look at certain things that were there in the archive. And I told the story before, but it's I put the first DVD in, it was just myself in this living room with a big television screen. And this image of the tulips comes up on the screen, and I'm just watching it and watching it. I don't know what it is, and I hear these footsteps, and then I see George Harrison's face come into frame, and he just stares at me for a long time. Just two of us in the room, and I'm sort of looking around and realizing, wait a minute, this is well, this is what's going to happen, I guess, right here. Obviously, we had to deal with the period of the Beatles as the group. So I think let's deal with that immediately, but and try to get past that information, so to speak, and the established that's going in. We know it's a given, and here it is. Even if as I recall, at one point we just move up the end of the Beatles, really, the signing of the papers as soon as possible. But really, it's long discussions about why I was attracted to making the movie, and it was really a matter of him trying to having everything in his life, and then still not being fulfilled. Finding or trying to find something beyond that, trying to find a meaning beyond that. If not a meaning, then some sort of spiritual transcendence in his life. And this comes through many different ways, but it has to come through the music. But primarily, ultimately, he's going towards, as we all are, towards death. So this is how we talked about what the film should be from the very beginning, the beginning of that journey. To the end of our lives and whatever.